Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog and to another episode of Transfer Talk. Today I'm going to be taking a look at two new players who have signed new long-term contracts at the club and a little bit of an update from Sky Sports in our pursuit of Ryan Sessegnon. Now before I get into the video, if you want more transfer content like this throughout the summer and a lot more when the season starts again, please subscribe to the channel down below and like this video. So to begin, the club have announced in the last couple of minutes that Harry Winks and Ben Davies have both signed new long-term contract with the club until 2024. To start off, Davis, it was one that we'd heard a lot about in the last couple of days. We were expecting it to happen, and Sky Sports even reported earlier that the talks were advancing, and it has now been completed. It's hard really to know what that means for Danny Rose because obviously we've been linked a lot with left back Ryan Sessegnon in this window, and we've heard today that the club are actually, Sky Sports put it, patient in their pursuit of the player. So while their valuation with Fulham is still a long way off, Fulham want around £40 million, but Tottenham are hoping about £25 million will seal the deal. It's kind of clear that Davis is their kind of preferred left back over Danny Rose and Ryan Sessegnon coming in. Now we know Rose did say after the Champions League final that his future at the club was unclear. He's going to go off on holidays, take a break, and he'd sort it out when he's back for pre-season. Obviously the club's pre-season started today. He's not back in yet, having played in the Nations League with England. So it's going to be, I think, a while before we see that one resolved, but it is a bit concerning for Danny Rose that with Sessegnon, obviously such a clear target for the club, and Davis now signing this long-term contract, you would kind of be worried for Danny Rose and his future at the club. I've seen a lot of people questioning why the club are kind of prioritising Ben Davies over Danny Rose, and I think it is a bit of a weird one because over the last couple of years Rose has been kind of our main left back. You know, when we were last season at White Hart Lane, him and Kyle Walker were definitely the best full-back pairing in the league, and I think after Kyle Walker left, I don't think that directly impacted Rose's game. I think the move to Wembley had a lot to do with it as well, but after Walker left and we made that change, Rose, his form kind of suffered a bit. I know he had that long-term injury that kept him out for a good few months, and then kind of after that, Davis and Trippier in our first season at Wembley were our main fullbacks. But last season, I think Rose kind of reinstated himself as our main left back. So it is a bit strange. As well, he did have those couple of interviews. The first one, obviously, where he said he has to Google these new players and he questioned the club's transfer policy. So it is a bit of a weird one. A lot of people, and myself included, see him as our best left back. But I mean, if this is what Pochettino wants, if he wants Davis and Ryan Sessegnon to come in, obviously that's what we have to hope happens because he knows best, and what he wants is obviously best for the club going forward. But it does feel like it's a thing whereas if we don't get the Sessegnon deal over the line, Rose will stay. And again, that comes back to the thing that Pochettino wanted his deals done by the 8th of July, which obviously is today. So I don't think Pochettino will be happy that we only have two signings done now. But if we are to believe the rumours, there are a lot more behind the scenes that are very close to completion. Dani Ceballos and Giovanni Lo Celso, just to name a couple. So it is a bit concerning what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks because, again, a lot of outlets are reporting we need to sell to buy, but it kind of feels like the players that we're going to buy are replacements for players that we have here at the moment. So it would be better for us if we bought a player and then sold, because, you know, it would be, if we say we're expecting to complete a deal for Sessegnon, so we thought, okay, let's get Rose out, get the funds in so we can buy Sessegnon, but then that fell through. If a different club came in, or if he just decided to stay at Fulham or something like that, obviously then we'd only be left with one left back. And I know Jan Vertonghen can't play out there, but it wouldn't be ideal having only one, I suppose, first team left back, someone that's his preferred position. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Rose over the next couple of weeks and Sessegnon, whether that deal gets over the line and if Rose will still be at the club on the 8th of August. Now, the other player that has signed a contract at the club is Harry Winks. Winks definitely had his best season for us last season. It's kind of one of his first that wasn't overpowered maybe by injury. He was a starting player in our team for the majority of the season, did really well in the middle of the park with Moussa Sissoko, especially in that Champions League run, and he has signed a new 5-year contract with the club. This kind of gives us a bit of insight into maybe what Pochettino is hoping for the midfield in the coming season. When we signed Tanguy and Ndombele, a lot of people were thinking straight away it's going to be Ndombele and Sissoko in there, and maybe we're going to try and overpower opposition midfields with that duo. But I said it was a possibility that Moussa Sissoko could be pushed onto an attacking role, because it is something that was discussed last season. Of course, he's so good in possession, so it will be advantageous to have him in those attacking positions. And maybe now with Winks signing this new contract, he may have been given some sort of guarantee that he will be first choice midfielder in there with Ndombele. Um, and I think that would be ideal for us, because I know obviously Sissoko was a really powerful player and last season had a really good season, but the way we kind of play, we need two really good ball playing midfielders, and that was what we had. Again, I'm going to bring it back to that season at White Hart Lane, because it was our best season. I mean, we finished 86 points when we had Dembele and Dyer in there. Both of them that season were so good, both in and out of possession. Obviously, Dembele being the powerhouse that he is, and Dyer being someone who can play centre back and right back, was so good defensively. And I suppose the team as a whole were just so good in possession. So I think having Ndombele and Winks in there would give us that kind of that play from the midfield that can just bring us anywhere. If we need to try and keep possession, or if we want players to pick out passes out to the wings and stuff like that. So to be honest, I think either way it goes, if it is Ndombele and Sissoko or Ndombele and Winks, both have their benefits. I mean, we could either have just pure power in the midfield, which would be more similar to the Dembele and Wanyama pairing that we saw, or if it was Ndombele and Winks, that would be closer to maybe Dembele and Dyer, who could play around in there a lot. So I think it's obviously great. Harry Winks is a really good player, and he's someone who loves the club. He's Tottenham through and through. So it's absolutely great getting that deal over the line. New 5-year contract for him. Now, another bit of news that is broken from the club today is that Ryan Mason has been made head coach of the under-19 UEFA Youth League side. Now, obviously, we all remember Ryan Mason came through the club's academy and had a good few seasons in our team, kind of before the Pochettino era. Seems like a long time ago now, with him and Bentaleb had a really good season in there. He left us to join Hull after a few years at the club in the first team, and of course he suffered that horrible injury where he fractured his skull in a collision with Chelsea's Gary Cahill. He did retire last year and went straight into his coaching badges. He has done a bit of coaching work at the team already, but today now he has been made head coach of the under-19 UEFA Youth League side. It's, I think, a really good thing for the club, and they always said when that happened that there'd always be a place for him at the club. They wouldn't leave him, kind of with his career hanging in the balance after that injury, which did force him to retire. So I think it's a good job for him. Obviously, he was a really talented player when he was playing, and I think it was a bit unfortunate for him that it just didn't work out with him in the first team. And it must have been a tough decision for him as a someone who was at the club for so long to make that decision to move away to Hull. But obviously at the time it was best for his career. But he is now coach of the under-19 side, and I hope they can go on and be successful in the UEFA Youth League, both for Mason and obviously for the club and the players coming up in the system. Now that's all for this video today. If you do want more transfer content like this, and as I said, a lot more when the season gets back into play, subscribe to the channel down below. It's completely free, and you get notified whenever I upload a video. Thanks for watching.